which enhance that conquest. So he wouldn't say no. That is one. On the other side, if this is a spiritual guy we're talking about, okay, by spiritual, I mean Christian, not the extremists of Christendom, the Christian, highly rational Christian. He as well wouldn't say no. And its own driving factor might not be sexual in that case. It might be that for him, it is not, he doesn't see it in a manner to directly come out to a lady to tell her no, as he might perceive it to be, to not be right and to be hurting in another perspective. So the inability to pass that message in the right way eventually keep things rolling. And because women are wired in the way of expectations and attachment of emotions, to them, they interpret those messages. And because men are people that just let it roll, just let it go. It keeps going on, and at some point, entanglement coming. Allow me to use that word. Then they get entangled with a lot of expectation from the sister. And at that point, it becomes more difficult for the guy to then say no. Because ab initio, he had the easier chance to say no, as there was no any emotional attachment. So with the trials and the enjoyment of that conquest at that time, right? He moves on with the ferry and it keeps going. And the longer it takes, the more difficult to say no, and both get into a fix at some point. So the reality is that it is just the man in a man, and it is often driven by that hormonal factor. And really, it drives men wild sometimes, even most times, even those that are spiritual get to miss it sometimes. There's the tone of the hormone in them, there's the tone of being a man in them, and it gets things complicated. I mean, this is my perspective, and I have seen this happen to people many times. Over.
Thank you so much. So you're, by the way, if you are just joining, Dr. Bode Lawson is a medical doctor. So he's given us a very clear perspective of things physiologically. And like he has said to us, the makeup of a man makes him to be wired as like a hunter. So imagine if you're a hunter, let's get really primitive here. Imagine being a hunter and the bushmeat comes to you. It is difficult for you to say, go away, you know, and even if she does not stand a chance, she does not have any on your list, but because this is a reverse thing happening, a woman is throwing herself onto a man, it's just not given for a man to say, okay, go away. So if they do not make a conscious decision to break it off in the beginning, it gets more difficult the more time they spend, regardless of what their own intentions are in their mind. It's tough. Mr. Adefemi, do you want to shed any light on that? Hello, are you
Second,
there?
Please. Yes, I'm here.
Please go ahead, sir.
Well, I think I want to agree with what the doctor said, and I think men are visual in nature, so it's when a man is has been given what I would call a green light, then it's difficult for him to, certain instances, back out or say no, or it takes a lot of self-discipline to entirely cut it off or say no. So that's what I think.
Excellent. It takes a lot of self-discipline for a man to back out. So it's not enough for us to say, okay, this is how we're wired. But when the woman throws herself at us, it's difficult to say no. It takes a lot of self-discipline. Pastor Bobby, do you want to say something about that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that my mic was muted. Okay, great. Yes, so I definitely agree with Dr. Bode Lawson, and yes. Okay, so let me look at the Christian angle of this, or when I say Christian, now Christian angle, yeah. Because Dr. Bode looked at the Christian rational angle, yeah. So of course, there's that rational angle, and then there's another dimension to that, the rational angle that I want to talk about. In the book of Proverbs, it says that house and riches are the inheritance of fathers. So in other words, they flow from the father to the children. Yeah. And then in the same vein, it says that that same verse, it puts a colon there. If you are into computers, you would know that when there's a colon inserted into the text, what was said is equal to what is going to be said after the colon. So it says, house and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. So in other words, it flows from the Lord. Yeah. Now, if you look at house and riches on the left-hand side of that equation, yeah, that is part of the inheritance that the father is going to give to his son or sons. Now, and this father has, for example, many houses. And now, one of his sons, yeah, he's very respectful of all the houses. Whenever they go to any of the houses, whether it's his favorite or not, yeah, he takes care of the houses, he appreciates the houses, takes care of the houses, if there's something broken, he wants to fix it. But we're leaving, leave that alone, we're leaving. Okay, Dad, you guys can go ahead. When I'm done fixing this, I will join you, at our destination and all that. Yeah. Now, and then one day, the father opens up the wheel, and then okay, now let me talk about another son. So there's another son who is not, has seen a particular house, and that is the house that he's interested in. So when they go to other houses, he's not really interested in those houses. You can't wait for them to get out of those houses and and all that. Now, and then the father opens the wheel, or the lawyer, opens the wheel on that fateful day. And behold, the house that was allocated to that son is not the house that he's actually interested in. And then there's drama, tantrum, all that stuff. But the other son, yeah, who, respected all the other houses, yeah, is presented some house. And of course, because he's already in that line of thinking, that way, that mannerism of life, yeah, he knows how to treat that house, he knows how to deal with that house, and and all that. Now, so we cross over to the other side. So a prudent wife comes from the Lord. And the Lord, like that father, has many houses or many daughters. Yeah. So like that good son, a Christian man, when I say Christian man now, so I'm moving beyond just that rational Christian man, but to a spiritual and rational Christian man. Yeah. He understands that all of these houses or all of these daughters, yeah, are daughters of the Most High God. So as a result, he treats all of them well. If there's something broken, he moves in to fix it, to assist. He means, of course, for things like that, yeah, of course, I mean, if someone is that way, of course, it's the desire of many people. Yeah, I understand. But remember that a prudent wife is from the Lord. It's from the Lord. It's not from your head. It's from the Lord. Of course, your head, of course, is involved, but it is from the Lord. Now, when the Lord gives it to you, or the Father gives it to you, yeah, you know how to deal with it, how to take care of it, how to, nourish and cherish it, and and all that stuff. Yeah. So if that son, yeah, or that man, seemingly is stringing along, I mean, even though I don't like that word, yeah, a lady, even with her, because I mean, then we say even though she doesn't stand a chance, he doesn't even know that. Yeah, he doesn't even know that, because sometimes you might not even, you might not know, but sometimes we're also gifted to know. Like in my own case, I was gifted to know. I just spoke to her on the phone two nights consecutively, and on the second night, I knew that she was going to be my wife. Yeah, but I didn't tell her anything. Yeah, but I just knew that she was going to be my wife. So I was fortunate in my own situation that that I knew that from the onset. Yeah, but that can be the case. Why some men, would just what you call in your according to your question, string along a lady. Yeah, even when they know that she doesn't, maybe stand a chance and that kind of stuff.
So in summary, are you saying that the fact that you're a Christian man means that you should treat all women as if they're the one until you know?
If you look at the Paul's admonition to Timothy, he says, respect the elders or the fathers, the young men as your brothers, the virgins as your sisters. So if you look at if you look at the female, yeah, or a lady as your sister, yeah, the first thing that comes to your mind is not even that kind of that dimension of relationship. It's about our well-being, and of course, and remember, as you're treating, if you have that kind of mentality or that mindset, yeah, when you come into marriage, it's also about the well-being of your spouse.
Okay, excellent.
Which now brings us to the Ephesians 5 recommendations that husbands do this, and all that. That's like and all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, time has gone so much. I can't even believe we are just 10 minutes. We have just 10 minutes to go. Thank you so much, Pastor Bobby. Thank you so much. The truth is, we've only answered one question from the men. The good thing is we have 7 days to go. And so thank you, men. Thank you. I think people dealt with it so well. Thank you, Pastor Bode, Dr. Bode, for giving us the physiological angle. Mr. Femi gave us his own angle as well. And Pastor Bobby gave us the spiritual angle with scriptures. Now we have a chance for the ladies to ask any questions. You've heard the three panelists talk about why men string along a lady, or like Pastor Bobby said, he doesn't like to use the word string along, because if it is a Christian, rational, and spiritual man, it is that he's treating every woman the way he would treat his sister. And so until he knows from God, he's going to treat her like a princess, the same way he would treat his wife, until it's clear to him. Also, Dr. Bode has said that men physiologically are hunters. And so when the hunter becomes the hunted, it is difficult for him to say, no, go away, even if he knows that he doesn't have any plans for this one. But if she's throwing herself at him, he's going to just enjoy the moment until for as long as he can. Yes. Now we have the chance. We have just a few more minutes. So 5 minutes now for the ladies. If you have any questions, ladies, it's your opportunity. Please raise your hand and I will call you to speak. Our ladies don't have any questions. Okay, do you have a comment? Or they've covered that question very well? Welcome, Victoria. Welcome, Ibukun. If you guys are just joining, this is Mordecai Institute, where matured singles come to have conversations, come to make friends, come to build networks, and newly married and intentional couples come here to make sure that their marriage is heaven on earth. So we've been talking today about vital conversations between men and women. We had an icebreaker where men gave us their lists, very funny lists. And if you weren't here, you can always watch it live on YouTube. If you go to Lola Thompson Duke, my channel, you would watch it on YouTube. We're broadcasting live on YouTube. And after our icebreaker, where men give us the list of the most essentials in the woman, we said that the common thread amongst all the men that spent the money, getting what they would most desire was Christian woman and good in bed. Good in bed. If you're a Christian woman, they say it is a given that you are faithful. So if indeed good in bed is required and we are Christian women and we're not meant to be trialing up and down, how do we get the knowledge? How do we learn these things? How do we become good in bed? Because I know that most things to be a good driver, you have to practice. To be a good cook, you have to practice. So what suggestions, what are the questions, what are the conversations that goes on in our mind as Christian women? Because we are not supposed to be practicing. It is not given for a Christian woman to be practicing. It is not right. It's not what the Bible has taught us. It has taught us to be chaste. And we have seen that this is what should be. So any suggestions around the room? What should women be doing if it is a key thing that keeps our men up at night? If it is a key thing that keeps our men, our Christian men, non-Christian men, everybody's talking about good in bed. Where does this knowledge come from?
All right, can I just say something there? Okay, great. So now one of the things that well, many years ago, so almost 30 years ago, maybe like 25 years ago, maybe, yeah. I heard a pastor say something. He said, when you're looking out for who to marry, of course, because sex is a big deal, yeah, with men. He said, look out for worshipers. So brothers, when the worship is going on, open your eyes, please, and be looking at the worshipers. Because,
Okay. That's a new one. So yes, women that worship are
because sex is actually, an act of worship. It's actually an act of worship. In fact, if you when people, even cultures, when they wanted to connect with deity, they would actually go through the route of, the temple, priestess or prostitutes, to connect with God. So it's actually, what do you call it, an act of worship. So, okay. Oh, yeah, just okay.
That's a very good angle to it. It's a good angle to it.
So yes, so single men, should actually look out for worshipers, because and then if you look out, if you see, a lady worship, in other words, she's actually releasing herself. And of course, for sex to be, to be, to be on point.
To
Yeah.
be on point.
To be on point.
Heaven
There
on
has
earth.
to be, exactly. There has to be release. Yeah, there has to be release. As in there has to be freedom. To express yourself. So, and one of the ways in which you can be free to express yourself is before your maker, which is, God, in worship. So ladies
not to
can
cut you short.
actually, yes, so ladies can actually, right now, learn, what do you call it? I mean, or position themselves by releasing themselves to worship. Don't be too frigid to her, to not worship God.
So worshippers, men should look out for worshippers. What should women look out for? Because the truth is, sex is a two-way street, isn't it? If you're going to be good because you are a worshipper, as a woman, as a man, if you want to see, okay, I can't have sex before marriage, but if I'm looking for a good wife, that woman can worship. She must be good. What about a woman? What should you be looking out for? I'm going to give you, based on my training and based on my training as a psychologist and based on my training as a marriage counselor, I'll give you my exact my exact training and what, but I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts?
Can I come in? Can I come in? I'm actually on Temitope's phone at the moment.
Okay, please
my phone
go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and a lot of things that will be said here, especially by a little bit more spiritual colleagues and pastors, are going to contradict what I strongly believe in about sex and intimacy in marriage, and this is the reason. This same population we have are currently still responsible for the 85% of women that do not and has never had orgasm in their whole life.
How are they responsible?
Yeah, I mean,
how are they responsible?
They are husbands, and it is because men go to the place of the so-called worship and lead the worship and end the praises without caring what happened to the other member of the party. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens every time. Yes, they lead the worship, they get the worship done, they end the worship without minding whether the other counterparts ever inclined in the spirit of worship before the worship ended.
Okay.
And this is excellent.
But that's a sweeping statement.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Sorry, can I say something? Can I quickly say something? I'll let you say something. I'll let you go after this, Pastor Bobby. That's a sweeping statement, and it's not very scientific. I'm a scientist by heart, and I will always say evidence, and then you can give me a full proof. I know that we have sexual problems in Christian marriages and non-Christian marriages as well. And so it will be a sweeping statement to say it is because of the same church people are the ones that are causing women not to really have orgasms.
So what
to be honest,
men population, the whole men population.
Do you have statistics for me, sir?
Very correct. I have the statistics.
Okay, you will present those statistics tomorrow. Our time has so run out. So we're going to be rounding up.
Sorry, Lola, can I just say something?
Yeah.
You asked the question that so what would we suggest and all that stuff. So I said, well, what should they look out for? So I said, so the ladies should look out for a giver. That's what I would recommend.
A what? Giver. A giver. Yes. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow a lot. Another question around that.
I have a question. Sorry.
Okay. Who is that?
Sorry. It's Victoria.
Oh, Victoria, please
something
go
practical.
Ahead. Quick. We have run out of time.
There are some cultures when you're getting married that they actually go through things where they teach you what to do and how to pleasure your partner. That's a practical way.
Excellent.
So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yes, it's excellent. Very, very true. Catherine, I don't think anybody said anybody's opinion is stupid. Nobody said that. You must have heard something different, but he wasn't saying that. Anyway, so, because that's on the chat. Thank you very much, Vicky. Cultures. A lot of cultures do that. A lot of families do that. I know we all know about Calabar people. In Yoruba land, we do that as well. At your wedding, during your wedding, a lot of people do that. But chief above that is instinct. Many people have never become parents. I remember when I had my daughter, she was so tiny. I told my mom, I don't want to hold her because I think I'm going to throw her on the floor. And my mother said, the love in your heart will never let you throw this child on the floor. The child won't slip from your hands because motherly instinct just comes at the time that is needed. The same with sex. The truth is, if you have love for that person, like Pastor Bobby rightfully said, sex is worship and it is a give and take. If the man is generous and the woman is surrendered, a surrendered woman that worships, she will want to pleasure her husband and she would give and receive from him and he will give. And to be honest, at all points, everyone will not be satisfied until the other person is satisfied. And that is exactly what sex is. It's instinctual because nobody goes to train the leopard on the street, in the wild. Nobody trains the chicken in your house before they start humping each other, or the rabbit. But we are instinctual sexual beings. We can have sex and have it well if we don't have obstacles in the way. And the obstacles we'll talk about more tomorrow. Please don't miss it. We've had a lot of very, very lovely time, and someone is saying, let me quickly read the messages in the chat room. Someone is saying that, yes, we can have sex and have it to the best of that is expected without getting practical before marriage. Yes. And someone said, okay, she was going to ask what the man should be, and she said giver. So that's, he already answered that. He said giver. Then he says we could be practical, we could be learned. Tony says it could be learned without being practical. Excellent. So we have come to the end of today. We have run out of time because it's been really interesting, and I will look forward to seeing everyone here tomorrow. I'm just going to ask my husband to round up with a prayer, with a word of prayer. Honey, please round up with a word of prayer. Pastor Richie, you're on mute. Is he there? Okay. I think you're going to save us. Victoria, Vicky, can you please round up?
Sure. Our Lord and Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for today. Thank you for the discussion that was being had, and also pray ahead for the discussions to be had. And may through these teachings, Lord Father, that we gain more knowledge, have fruitful discussions, and also improve our lives through it, Lord. As we go to bed, give us good sleep.
Amen.
And as we come again tomorrow, Lord Father, we'll come expectant, Lord. We give you all the praise, we give you all the glory, and we thank you because you love us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Amen. So tomorrow, same time, we're looking forward to seeing everyone. And please come prepared. You never know what questions you would have to answer. Tomorrow we'll be listening to more questions for the men and questions for the women. Please thank our lovely panelists, Pastor Bobby, Mr. Adefemi, Dr. Bode. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night,
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.